Now I'm doing my bump shot, but there's no bump. It's just my belly and the babies aren't there anymore. It's so crazy. Okay, so here we go. So here. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and like and share this video. And make sure to watch to the very end because I am going to be revealing my postpartum belly. All right, so I am 20 weeks postpartum after having twins, and I have carried 3 babies now. I've been pregnant twice. I carried my first daughter to 42 weeks. My second pregnancy, I carried to 40 weeks and with twins, and which is practically unheard of nowadays. It just blows my mind how incredible our bodies are and what we're capable of doing. It's just such a miracle. That goes without saying that my body has changed. It's changed for sure. It's definitely not what it was when I was, I don't know, before having kids. The messaging around postpartum is always, oh, have you gotten your body back yet? There's a lot of pressure around that, and there's like a certain standard that's supposed to be met, like you're supposed to go back to something. And the truth of the matter is my body has not gone anywhere. If anything, I'm more in my body now than I've ever been in my whole life. I'm accepting my body, and I love my body now more than ever before, even before having kids. And there's always this pressure to return to this like unscathed body, with like having the perfect stomach and the perfect this and no stretch marks, no blemishes. And the truth of the matter is that that's just not real life. That's not realistic. And we're constantly being bombarded with these messages that we're supposed to look a certain way and be a certain way. And I don't know a single woman that doesn't have stretch marks. And of course all of these messages are geared towards men and women and everything in between. There definitely is a lot of messaging that's specifically geared towards postpartum women, and it's like, okay, you've gone through this, now you have to basically hate yourself until you get back to this place that you were at before, which you're never going to return to. When you've given birth, when you've carried children, you have opened up an entirely new portal in your body. It's impossible to go back to the body that you had before, let alone the person that you were before. So there's no going back. There's only going forwards. And the most important thing to do is to accept what you've gone through, accept that your body has changed, accept that this is your new body. I think it's just about redefining what is beautiful. The more that we can redefine that, the more society will eventually just shift and change. I stopped accepting that sort of like, oh, I'm so fat frequency probably around 10 years ago, because that was so drilled into my brain from probably starting around like 9 or 10 years old. I started being conscious of weight and just like having to be like super thin in order to be beautiful. This is all the programming that we receive from such a young age as women, but also men. It's all there. It's just different programming. So I'm just going to speak from my own perspective. I stopped accepting that, and the day that I did and I started just accepting my body, it started doing everything that I always wanted it to do, because I accepted it for however it was going to look. And my health has never been better, and my view on myself and the love that I have for myself has never been stronger. So I think accepting the way that your body looks is the most important way to get your body back, basically. That being said, after I had the twins and I saw my body for the first time in the mirror, it was definitely a shock for me, because I am so used to not having stretch marks on my belly, and it was a shock. I had a hard time looking at myself naked, and it was like, oh my God, my body is just not what it once was. And that acceptance was hard in the beginning, definitely. And of course, after you've just given birth, it's your uterus that's sticking out. So my uterus was still so big, and it was, obviously that wasn't really the thing that was bothering me, because I remember like with my first pregnancy that it did take a while for it to go down. Like you can actually still look pregnant for quite a long time after giving birth. And so it was more the stretch marks for me and the saggy skin that was the shocking part. Of course, I was like, oh my God, when is this going to go away? Is it never going to go away? At first, I was quite sad about it. Look, it took me a couple weeks to fully be like, okay, like this is my body now. I actually did something so incredible. I highly recommend this. I did a belly binding wrap. It was so cool and it really helped my uterus go down. And I loved feeling the strength of my core because I literally had no core. It felt like I had no core after the twins because it was just so I was so stretched out in the end there. So I felt for me, it was just like, oh my gosh, like I've had that motivation kind of to feel like, okay, I want to get my core back again because the core is going to protect me and the rest of my body from being injured and just being able to stand up, walk, do whatever. And my core is obviously attached to my pelvic strength as well. So that was something that I really wanted to work on. So definitely wearing the wrap for the first 6 weeks in the beginning, I found to be really helpful. I also did some core exercises with Marco Walker-Ing, who is a personal trainer, and he helped me. He showed me some really simple exercises that I just do for 2 or 3 minutes a day because I actually have quite bad diastasis recti, and which means that my stomach muscles were coming apart. So in between my belly button, I could put like a 2-finger width of spacing in between. So that's something for me that's really important, and it's sort of more just like healing that for me. So that's something that I try my best to do maybe 3 to 4 times a week when I can find the time. Again, it only takes about maybe around 5 minutes for me to complete the exercises, but it's something that makes me feel like I'm healing and strengthening my core, which is really important to me. I also did a session with a homeopath. His name is Jonathan Damonte. He actually did a specific massage on me that I will show in the following clips of just some light massages that I can do. I often just do them when I'm lying down with the babies breastfeeding, and it sort of just regenerates the collagen and the cells that are on my belly, again, to promote healing and just to feel good within my skin.
It's gonna get better. You just have to work at it.
Okay.
What's more important is the split, because that's harder to fix. So you can come closer, and I want to start exploring. I'm going to feel here the size of your abdomen. I'm going to start palpating. So that's your sternum.
Okay.
And then the tip of the cartilage is called the xiphoid process. And then we have the costal margin, the end of the ribs. You can see here by my palpating. Mm-hmm. So these are the areas we want to work on. And then down here is your pubis. And so the most important thing are the abdominal muscles have kind of come away from the fascia on top.
Okay.
And we want to try and encourage them to knit up again.
Okay.
So imagine like you had a scab on your skin that is underneath. Mm-hmm. And you almost want to take the scab off so that the skin can heal again.
Right.
And that's sort of what we're doing, but that sounds rougher than it is. So firstly, we're going to look for any signs of where the split might be. So I'm just sinking down onto the sheath, not really pressing onto the organs. Yeah, so basically it's just lost its tone. It's kind of lumpy, like a little bit like cottage cheese in there. Yeah?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Kind of what it feels like too.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is just do a demonstration of how to encourage these collagen bonds to split apart and re-knit.
Okay.
And that's the goal. Okay, so let's imagine this is the 2 sides of your abdomen. And it's not exactly split. They've kind of bubbled and just disconnected. So we're going to, all these broken apart pieces, we're actually just going to do little moves across them. And then we'll go, let's say we'll do comparative sides. We'll go like that, and then another time we'll come and break them in another direction. So we might go then this way. So those are arrows. Sorry.
It's okay.
And then we might come again and go this way. And so we're just going to mix up the collagen under your skin. That's all we're focusing on. We're not pressing hard. It's very light pressure. So I just want to feel where is the abdominal muscle here. And that's good. Okay, so we're going to assume a lot that the bond is kind of on either side of the abdominal, the rectus abdominis muscle, your abs. And we're going to just start here and just do little pushes of the skin, a little tension, and I move across. And I'm just doing this little direction. And at some point I won't worry about the directions. I just want to get the feel of it. So you can see how I'm not worried about the surface skin. I'm worried about the skin and the deeper layer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you, honey.
And so in a way it is a bit like, making a scar. And most of us rub a scar, but only in one direction. And so this way, it's not the same as a scar, because what's under here is just collagen that's gotten stretched and moved out of the way and has kind of stayed there.
Right.
And so we want to almost melt it. It's hard to think of it. It's maybe like if you were doing icing, and it was getting hard, and this is just smoothing it out again.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can see I'm just doing little moves in different directions, like a herringbone is a good way to describe it.
Okay.
Or a crosshatch.
Okay. And how often should we do this?
Let's see how you respond first.
Okay.
Because sometimes you could almost overdo it. And you want to allow the collagen to reconnect in a more appropriate way.
Right, okay.
And so, how many times should it be done? Could be a lot. I'm just doing one line where the most normal place would be, but we should go an inch or two on either side.
Okay.
Maybe larger diameter around your navel.
Okay.
And then I think you'll start to see a noticeable change, by doing it maybe every 3-4 days, something like that would be my guess. I mean, you shouldn't have to do it all the time.
Okay.
Because it's a natural process, and you're just helping it by getting it to come apart again, and then it'll knit again in a more proper way.
Wow,
Okay,
well
good.
that was amazing. Thank you
Welcome.
so much.
It's my pleasure. I really want to know how it works when you do it yourself, because that's not so nobody knows about this. It's like crazy.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm convinced, and that was
It's exciting.
it's really, really exciting to feel like I can actually work towards, healing it. So yeah, I do the massage as often as I can. I often do it when I'm breastfeeding, side-lying breastfeeding. I'll do the massage lightly on my belly, and I find it to be super, super helpful, and I'm always blown away by the results from it. And it's just stimulating the collagen within my belly for healing purposes. When I do the massage, I often use an oil, and I use my favorite oil ever, which is Best Skin Ever by Living Libations. The link for that is below. I find it just gives a little bit more grip, and it's easier to do the massage. And then, at the end of the day, for me, it's like I can just do what I can do. I'm not going to stress about it or think about it. It's all about healing for me and being strong and feeling good within myself. If my body looks the way that it looks and nothing ever changes, then I accept it, and it shows nothing but my strength and my power to be able to grow these babies within my body. It's incredible, and I have nothing but love or gratitude for my body now. I'm done with all the hate. I'm done with all the obsessing and trying to change. And especially now, I have 3 daughters to raise. This is the most important message to me in the whole world, is that they accept themselves for who they are and they love themselves and they can look in the mirror and they never have to feel like, oh, I would feel so much better about my life if I lost 5 pounds, or if I didn't have this stretch mark, or if I didn't have this sag or this scar or this blemish or this insert here. I mean, or whatever. That's the most important thing to me in the whole wide world, you know. And now when I look at my body, I've learned to love it so much that I'm like, this just shows the journey of them just growing within me and changing me forever. And I'm so grateful for this journey. And yeah, that being said, let me do the belly shot. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy because the whole time I was pregnant, I always did the bump shot. Now I'm doing my bump shot, but there's no bump. It's just my belly and the babies aren't there anymore. It's so crazy. Okay, so here we go. So here is my belly. So I'm still 20 weeks postpartum, so it may still change. So yeah, this is what it looks like. So I have, you know, some stretch marks, a little bit of sagging. It definitely just looks really different than it did before. And yeah, this is the diastasis recti here that I was talking about. So you can see that there's the separation here. And that's just the little exercises that I do to help that heal. This is my soft, beautiful belly that I now have. And it's so crazy. I'm sure like those of you who have had babies can relate that once the babies aren't in there anymore, it's so weird not to feel the kicks. It's such a weird feeling. Every single line and stretch and mark shows the journey of them being inside of me. And I just think it's just the coolest thing ever. And I'm also super fortunate that my partner Matisse is so accepting of me and my body. And he even tells me, he's like, I just think you're so much more beautiful than you were before. He was like, which is so amazing. I'm so fortunate to have a partner that accepts me for who I am and thinks I'm beautiful no matter what. So that's just the best. So yeah, let's shift this. Let's shift the narrative. Let's shift the narrative to accepting ourselves and accepting our bodies. Let's stop obsessing over changing and let's start focusing on health and focus on loving ourselves. And that's the most important thing. And that's the most important message that I can give to myself and to my daughters and to you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and like and share this video. Thank you so much for watching. Mwah! Ciao!